go over something that's simple but powerful. And that is new year, new you. I know the managers have been reaching out to you guys, and will be reaching out to you over this next month and setting up goals, personal goals, company goals, right? But new year, new you. That does not mean new standards. Okay, we've been building on standards all in 2025. So that doesn't mean that we're doing something new. We've proven it in 2025, and we're just taking it into 2026. So again, not new standards, just new focus, new discipline, new commitments to yourself. And that's what we do when we reflect in January. So in 2025, we just didn't talk about, sales metrics and sales numbers and performance and service, right? We didn't just talk about those things. Most of you in here spent a lot of time because we focused on how we show up. We talk about that first impression, right? Sharp as a tack, enthusiastic as heck, and an expert in your field. That's that first impression, how you show up. That's what we talked about. We also talked about how we think, mindset, having a good attitude, being grateful, right? Being grateful for what you have each and every day. What Matt, Derek, and David just talked about today, the last couple of days, we haven't had a lot of leads. David was talking about the sales department only had one lead each, if you had a lead. And that's what we did yesterday, was 115,000. Talk about loving the one you're with. A lot of you service department didn't have a lot of leads yesterday, but you're still showing up, you're still performing, because lastly, it's how we treat people. We stay in the conversation with the customer. We stay in the conversation, we're with the customer, and we make a connection. That's what helps us succeed, because when you make the connection, you build trust. And when you build trust, then they take time to look at your solutions, evaluate the solutions, and move forward with the solutions. So, you know what I'm talking about, it really ultimately comes down to culture, doesn't it? The culture that we have here in our group has gotten so much bigger as we've come together. But culture isn't just the posters on the wall, right? We've got the posters to help remind us, but that's not where culture is built. Culture is built with you guys because we do the things that are hard, and we do them consistently every day. It's how we respond to pressure, and it's how we act when no one is watching, not just because someone is seeing you. You know what? And we do it together as a team. That's what culture means, is team. So reality check as we go into 2026. The market is still going to test us. Things don't get easier. Things don't just magically change, right? Customers are still going to give us price objections. We're still going to have, obstacles to overcome. Jobs will fall through. We may not have jobs, or we're not going to wait till summer to make our money, right? We are going to focus on our customers, because success isn't built, right? Success isn't avoiding challenges. It's how we respond to them when the challenge is presented to you. And we built great success in 2025 and carrying that into 2026. So we did that through principles that were successful in sales, service, and in management. And I want to remind you, it's one of the very first meeting that I had with the sales department back in November, the very first meeting that I had with the service department back last January, and I presented this because it is what principle and success is built on, which is our 4 pillars. Seek the needs. Seek the needs of customers, because we don't just sell products and sell services. We're always here to solve a problem. And then we want to help them move forward. Help them move forward with that. We're doing it gratefully, with gratitude. Joyfully pay the price. You have to give up something. Success doesn't just happen. You have to give up, be willing to give up something in order to succeed. And then expect nothing in return. Integrity always wins, especially long term. All right, and then we built that on the 2 keystones that these 4 pillars stand on. And we did that through being grateful. And I really want you to consider that, because, you know, being grateful and having gratitude changes the way you present yourself in a home. When you go in, that this is grateful. Instead of going, man, the company's not giving me enough. The company isn't doing this for me. Or I'm having problems at home and I'm taking that into my house with the customer. Or I didn't make the last sale. That customer didn't listen to me. Man, this next customer isn't going to listen to me. Instead of going, you know what, new start, new me, new customer, game, reset, and we go in grateful. Grateful, it all starts there, because that is a new energy. And then, of course, be curious and not judgmental. I always talk about ask, and keep asking. It's all about asking the questions. Be curious with customers, because actually that does build trust. And trust, because you care, you're showing that you care about the customer. You're not going in judgmental. We all do it. We are human. We all make first impressions, right? People make first impressions about you. You make first impressions, all right? It is innate. It's actually a survival technique that we have, that we assess our situation and we automatically make a first impression. But they've done research that generally the first impression is incorrect. Isn't that funny? It's incorrect. So, with that saying, as you get more information and as the customer gets more information from you, that builds on the trust, because judgment can kill your trust. And so, just stay curious and have fun with the customer and just keep asking them questions. So, these principles work. They work in the home, they work in life, they work on the phone. For you ladies in the back, just making sure you're still paying attention. And in life. So, new year equals new decision. Okay, not new principles, right? January doesn't just magically make, everything happen for you. Okay, the decisions that you make now will. That's what makes a new you, is the new decisions that you make. Growth comes from the small, we talked about this last week. Growth comes from the small disciplines done consistently over time. It's doing the boring things over and over and over. Okay, we have to make sure that you do the boring things, hold yourself accountable to doing that. And then, you know what consistency looks like? It looks like staying in home just a little longer. A lot of you guys did that yesterday. Right? Stay in the home just a little bit longer, asking the one more question. We talk about making a connection with the customer. It's not just that first question, do you have hot and cold spots in your home? Okay, it's how does that make you feel? How does that make your daughter feel in her upstairs bedroom? How long has she been dealing with that? How much longer is she going to be living in that upstairs bedroom? Oh, she's 6? That's going to be a long time. Right? It's the follow-up questions. Explaining the value one more time before you check out. Not quitting after that first no. They say, a customer will say no 2.3 times before they finally go, okay, yes. And a lot of times, remember, they're saying no, N-O, because they don't know enough, yes, K-N-O-W. They don't know enough information, so remember, don't quit after the first no. Treating every customer like they matter. Again, it's about that connection. Stay in the conversation with the customer. They matter, because they do matter. So how people really win is success in the industry. I talk a lot about what we do. It's not talent, and I like to say we have a lot of talented people. We have GOAT winners in here. Matt, Gerard, we have talent in this room. But I guarantee you success in what we do is not because of talent. It's about the discipline that you carry under pressure, and again, doing the boring things over and over and over. It's staying consistent. I mean, honestly, I'm not more talented than anybody else in this room, but we have proven success in 2025 that we will carry into 2026. And I guarantee you, my secret sauce is just staying consistent and performing under pressure. That's it. That's the secret sauce. Goals. So we're talking 2026. We're going to talk a little bit about goals as we move forward. Goals do matter. And I think about the birthday cake. Who hasn't Who knows when you make wishes on a birthday cake, they say don't say it out loud. Don't say it out loud because it won't come true. Right?
Yeah.
And do those birthday wishes normally come true? Not always. Not always. You know why? Because goals spoken out loud, that's when you make a commitment. You gotta hear it. You gotta speak it to the world, because the world has a funny way of really helping people when they speak their crazy dreams out loud. That's what's really cool. They help you when you're chasing something, when they know what you're chasing. So saying your goals matter. When you say your goals out loud, you give it meaning. You give yourself commitment. You give it weight. You give it accountability. And more importantly, the last point is that you let people help you succeed. Okay, you give them permission to help you move along. So think about that. That's why it's important that we speak it out loud. It's uncomfortable though, because I don't want to say it out loud, because what if I don't hit it? I know that's what I think. I know it's what a lot of you think, but if you don't say it out loud, you know what? A goal is a goal. Shoot high. And if you reach close to it, you still succeed. If you never say it, you have nothing to hold yourself accountable to. And how do you know? How do you have something to measure? So we want to measure. So think about this. Ask yourself these couple of questions. Who do you want to be in a home? What's your number this year? We'll be talking about it in the 101s with you guys. So make sure that you, I know it's not going to matter, David, but if you would turn down the AC, it's a little warm. What habit are you going to change? What's one thing that you haven't consistently been doing that you're going to hold yourself accountable to continue to do that boring thing over and over? So not later, not next month, not when it's slow, but right now. And you got to speak it out. So this is, we talk about team. I talk about team with our managers. I talk about it with other, people in and around. We are a team, and that's a culture that we're building, is teamwork. No one wins alone, all right? You're not doing this by yourself. You've got your neighbor that's got power that can help you. You've got your management team. So, I love that. I was going to say, these two right here have been sitting together for the last month or so, and now you see their name in lights. I don't know if you guys are helping each other or not, or if it's just rubbing off, but you know what? You see the name in lights up here. So I'm talking about Luis and Larissa. But if you fall short, we're going to coach you, all right? We're not going to criticize. If you struggle, we're going to help you, okay? We're not going to be judgmental to you, all right? We're just here to help, and then when you succeed, we're going to freaking celebrate, and we're going to do it super loud. So the real goal isn't just about production, okay? It's not, yes, we do celebrate the average ticket and what the number that we're at, but we only get to those production numbers because our goal is about professional development and customer trust. That's what our real goal is. That's where we shoot for, and then the end result is the numbers. So, closing challenge for 2026. Closing challenge for you. Who can relate to this statement? Life sometimes just happens. Just happens to me. That's not what we're going to do in 2026. We're not going to have life happen. We're going to decide where you're going to go. And when you decide where you're going to go, you speak up and show up with intention. Speak your goals out loud and hold yourself, and we'll help you with that. Hold yourself to the standard. Not the new standard, the standard that we already have, just the new you. So, in that, we'll end with new year, new you, same standard, higher results, all right? So what I'd say, let's go earn it. Thank you guys.